the reality is I have 3 high schoolers myself.
Yeah.
And we hear all these things, these stats of like, man, when kids graduate high school, they leave their faith and they walk away, and the statistics are super high as far as that percentage. So I think one of the questions we had for you, is what do you think the biggest questions are that young people face today are?
Yeah. Well, here's what's interesting about those stats, is it's when they graduate high school, leave the home, that they're walking away from the faith, but then there were follow-up studies asking those students, but when did you stop believing? And it was when they were 13, 14, 15, still in the parents' home. The issue is they're in the parents' home, they're made to go to church, they kind of went along with the program until they could finally leave. So this kind of can start shaping us if we have kids in the house to realize our kids are being bombarded with questions and issues and challenges that's causing them to question and doubt the faith while they are still under our roof. And if we're not addressing those issues in that 4 or so years that we have them, where this really starts to hit hard at 13, 14, then they leave at 18, why do we think that they're gonna stay in that faith? Right? And so it's so important for us to be addressing those things with our students. And really, the questions is coming mainly from what they're being exposed to in culture, right? From what they're seeing in movies, what they are being taught in schools, and then what the church then is not addressing. Right? And there's amazing churches that address these things. There are some that don't, that I see. And so, I get a lot of questions from students on science and faith issues, right? Because many of them are sitting in public schools. They're being taught all these different kind of things of naturalistic explanations, right? An explanation of how we got here without God. And if we're not addressing science issues in the church and youth group in our home, then it just creates this disconnect for the students. There's a study done that said, over 50% of students want to go into a science-related career, yet less than 1% of youth pastors address science-related topic in the last year, right? And so again, if we are not talking about it, and this is being exposed and being told this is a contradiction to them, then they're not learning how to reconcile these issues. So that's a big one. Then also, what they see in entertainment, right? And the culture's view of sexuality, morality, and that sort of stuff. And so then that's the opportunity where we have 3 options. And I love how John Stone Street puts this. When it comes to helping our students engage in entertainment, there's much more to be said here. But we kind of have 3 options. We can either isolate them from it, kind of what we talked about last night, just don't watch it. Well, the issue is they're gonna get to the point where they're listening to the songs and they're watching the movies, and you can't just isolate them forever. You can take them at a young age to that movie, or listen and just hope they don't recognize what they're hearing, hope it kind of goes over their head. And maybe that works when they're really little. Or we can say this, hey, we're gonna go, yeah, I'll take you to watch that, and you do some research and figure out what's in the movie or what's about that song, and then say, but you're gonna have a conversation with me about this. Okay, what did you notice? Right, and this is where I teach parents to kind of address certain questions of who are the good guys, who are the bad guys? What is any references to religion? What did it claim is the purpose of life? Right, and so there's worldview ideas being presented in entertainment that is shaping students as they just constantly are consuming and consuming and consuming. Just like you consume food, it shapes your body. You consume entertainment and it shapes your ideas. It's a lie to say it's neutral, it doesn't affect me. It does. And so as parents and as students, we have the ability to say, I want to turn my mind on, not treat entertainment as amusement. Amusement is entertainment without inspiring thoughts. But how do we be properly entertained where we are enjoying this medium, but then thinking about it deeply and critically, not falling captive to the lies that are present in it? And so that's where kind of the big questions are areas of sexuality, because that's what we see in entertainment, areas of science, that's what we see in the classroom. And so those are kind of the big things that students are reconciling or trying to deal with. And then ultimately, and I'll just say this very fast, is God even good? There's a bigger question of the goodness of God and the goodness of Christianity as they see Christians acting in culture and not behaving well. It's like, is this even a good thing?